I'm here with Sneaky after a 2-0 victory over Team Liquid. How are you feeling after that win?
Pretty good. The games are pretty weird, I guess, because the first game we had like total control of the bot side forest, and we're just zoning them. But then we got like a really bad fight through blue, so I wasn't really participating much in the game. So that game just felt really weird to me. And then second game was also super odd because we took all of their turrets, and at like 17 minutes, we were just super deep controlling their forest and choking them out. But it's really hard to snowball like that because they have Caitlyn, so she can just trap up like the whole side of the lane, and you can't really take the turret that easily. So the game was just really odd, not like normal LCS games we play.
Outside of Reckless over in Europe, you're one of the few AD carries who's had success on this Kennen AD carry pick. Is this something that you feel you figured out on your own as a player, or is it more about Cloud9's style as a team working with the pick?
I'm not entirely sure, like, why it works for me and not others. I mean, I don't know how many people really tried it. I think FlyQuest tried it last split. I didn't go badly, or anything like that, so I don't know what it is specifically, but he's a pretty good split pusher, and I guess Reckles shows that a lot. Maybe it's like his build that really shines on Kennen, just because it's so much like tankiness in the AD carry role. And for some reason, he has such good wave clear when he gets Hurricane, like way better than other AD carries with Hurricane. It feels really weird, but yeah, I mean, he's just a pretty good pick for us because he just has good team fighting, good split pushing. Like, you don't really need as much help when you push out, so that frees up Smoothie to be more towards like Jensen's side when we're pushing, so that Jensen's like safer, and then we can make games pretty clean that way.
We talked to Smoothie last week, and he was talking about how much fun he was having in this new support meta that's really playmaking centric. Have you had a much better time in the bot lane now compared to like the days of Karma and Nami every game, or do you prefer more of the Enchanter style so you can hard carry?
It's pretty similar for me because either way, I kind of just sit back and take all of this damage or pressure, because if I'm against Blitzcrank, I'd have to be 24/7 hiding behind creeps. It's really hard to pressure because if you're playing, like Lulu or something into Blitz, you can pressure, but you have to be so careful about it. If he ever lands a hook, you're just dead, like in that matchup. So it's really weird. I mean, like Karma had didn't really have a lot of counterplay either, because she just shoves you in 24/7. You can't really push back, and I'd probably say, like specifically the Karma, not so much the Lulu, but the Karma playing against is way worse than like the engaged supports, just because when you're getting shoved in all the time, you can't trade, so you just can't even play the game really at all. Whereas with the like tank supports, like Blitz, Braum, Tom, like all the melee dudes that are coming back, you can play the game a lot more just as an AD carry, because it's not just you're fighting creeps 24/7, you're actually playing as champions.
Jensen, since joining your team a few years back, has been one of the best mid laners in North America, but it seems he's really elevated, at least statistically, to another level this split. Do you think that he's reached a new plateau as like the best mid laner in North America, or is it just that your team is very, very effective when it comes to setting him up to succeed and get these gigantic scores?
I'm not really sure how he gets all of the kills, honestly.
He had 11 kills in the game you guys lost last week.
Yeah, like he just randomly ends up with a bunch of kills that come out of nowhere. I'm not really sure. I just randomly press tab and I see like, oh, Jensen's got like 3 times more kills. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I know we do play a bit around him. Like, it makes games just a whole lot easier. I mean, it's partially because Jensen's really good, and it's partially because the mid lane just has control by itself. Like, if you have control of mid lane, then you can move to anywhere from the mid lane. So there's like a few factors that go into it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what else to say, honestly.
You guys have 2 top laners. You're one substitute that's listed on your roster, and we're seeing other teams add new substitutes. Team Liquid just announced a return of their 10-man roster style, and they used a few of those players today. How does the substitute system work for Cloud9, and is it a different philosophy, do you think, from other teams and how they're using substitutes?
I think it's pretty similar usage for our subs. We started out with Ray because we were playing a lot with them in practice, and Impact wasn't here, but now they're both here. I think Ray wasn't feeling as well this week, so we played like a bit less with them. Okay. But yeah, it's just kind of like a mix-up. Like, before we were playing like 1 game with Impact and like 5 games with Ray and scrims. So it's kind of just been mixing up. Like I think Reaper changes it up a little bit just based on their performance, so we can do the best we can in the weekend. But yeah, we try to give like 50-50 time, and then when it gets closer to the actual day, we kind of like choose one, and then even in series, we'll still like, if we lose the game, we'll probably just switch up the top laner to make it a bit different. Like it's kind of where in a series you don't want to play the same comp like every single game because they know what they're playing against, and if you change it up, like you'll just have a lot more stuff that's unexpected.
You mentioned team comps and that being a big part of it. In game 1, you guys drafted Lucian, Kennen, and Galio, where we had Lucian who could flex 3 different lanes technically speaking. You have Galio mid or top, Kennen AD or top. How important do you think it is in the draft phase to keep people guessing with these flex picks in terms of converting that to a win? Do you think the draft phase is very significant, or does it matter more about how the game is played out itself?
Well, the draft's always important. I mean, there's different varying levels of it because, if you get like an even draft, then it just basically comes down to gameplay. If you get a draft where it's just completely one-sided, like say your one team comp's super good early game, and then that team comp like can't make anything happen early game because of your picks, then you'll probably just outscale them. So there's a lot of things that can be good that come out of draft that'll just give you advantages straight off the bat. Like, if you play like Ashe into Tom Kench or something, you just completely deny Ashe's ability to engage on people. So there's a lot of things that you can do in Big Ben, and with the new system of 10 bans, it's a lot easier to get those things through and change it up. Like thinking back to the old Big Ben, I know a lot of times with like the old team, we would basically just go for the same comp like almost every single game because you didn't really have to change it up that much. But with the new 10 bans, you can change up a whole lot because purple and blue side is so different. Like purple has 2 counter picks, and has like the first pick after the second ban phase, so there's a lot of advantages on that side. And blue side has to blind pick most of the time, first pick 2-3, so there's just a lot more safety picks from the blue side. And the purple side you can change up your draft a whole lot, so it's just like a really big dynamic that you can get a lot of advantages from.
Do you think that purple side is actually stronger with the 10 ban system?
It kind of feels like it. I mean, from an AD carry perspective, it hasn't really mattered to me that much, but as a team, like a whole, it's probably easier for top lanes and mid lanes to pick. I mean, there's some metas where you end up just wanting to pick your champion like 1-2 anyways on purple side because it's just that strong. But I'd say most of the time it'll be probably advantage to be on purple. Yeah.
Last weekend, you accomplished a pretty rare accolade, 1,000 career LCS kills. I talked to Smoothie about that in an interview, and he said, and he was like, yeah, no, he was pretty just calm, just normal thing. And we've heard some clips of your comms last year with some pentakills and stuff. After playing all of these games and accomplishing so much and having these like pretty crazy, like at least from externally hype moments, how do you manage to just remain calm in every single situation?
Well, it's a little different. Like 1,000 kills, it's interesting. I mean, it's not like a pentakill in your face, and it's really hard to think about because even in that game where I got the 1,000th kill, I think it was on balls. Like I didn't even know it at the time, like in game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't counting my kills, unfortunately. I probably should have. Maybe would take a little focus off the game, but yeah, I had no clue that was my 1,000th kill, so I was a little bit less emotions. I probably would have said something about it if I knew. But I mean, for pentakills, depends on the situation. Like if it's a really close game, I probably won't have many emotions about it because you just need to get through the game and like try to do as much as you can to win. But if it's like the game's over, like we won the fight so hard, it's like give me the pen, I need this. So yeah, I mean it's not that hard to keep your emotions down if you're thinking about winning the game.
Sneaky Jat was saying after the broadcast when you guys beat Team Liquid 2-0 that the game obviously was a win, it was important, but this is sort of just part of the march towards you guys ramping up and getting ready for playoffs. Do you find that after playing so many splits and so many regular season games that some of these regular season games just kind of blend together and it's a different sort of focus, or do you think that it's you can take it one game at a time even after all these years?
I'd say it's still pretty easy to take it one game at a time because just in general for League, like you need to be focusing on what's exactly in front of you because just the week-to-week thing is how you're going to get a really good seed in playoffs. So if any point you're like, actually there was a lot of times where it was like a few seasons ago where like I would see teams in the interviews like talking about how they want to get to Worlds and like how they were trying to do well at Worlds when we're in like the middle of the split. And it's like really confusing to me because there's something so obvious in front of you, like the playoffs, that why would you even be thinking about the next step? And I mean, I think we said it, me and Smoothie, like a long time in an interview. I think it was before Spring Split, where Smoothie said, we're not really thinking about Worlds, we're thinking about what's in front of us. So I think that's like my mentality. I know it's most people's, but there's like sometimes where I'll see people talking about Worlds when it's not like even here yet. Like right now, if you ask me something like, hey, how do you think you do well, or how do you think you do at Worlds this year? It's like, it's the dumbest question because it's just, you have to think about what's exactly in front of you. And by doing that, you go week to week, and then from there you can move into playoffs because it's just, the most important thing is what's right now.
One step at a time. Cloud9 with the victory over Team Liquid today. Sneaky, is there anything that you'd like to say to your fans out there or the Cloud9 fans?
Thanks for watching.
All right, for everything else on NA LCS and League of Legends Esports, you can head to Halla.com.